Why married women give mixed signals, never miss, but why do they do this? Psychology tips. People may hear your words, but they feel your attitude. John C. Maxwell. Have you ever found yourself in a situation you just couldn't make sense of? A married woman, maybe she's your coworker, your neighbor, or even an old friend, suddenly starts behaving differently around you. Her eyes linger longer than they should, her smile feels warmer, and her conversations seem more personal, almost as if she's pulling you into a private world. And yet, she never says anything directly. That's when the confusion sets in. You catch yourself thinking, wait a second, she's married. Why is she doing this to me? Is she really interested, or is this just some kind of mind game? The truth is, this can happen anywhere, at work, in your social circle, even within your extended family. And it happens more often than most men are willing to admit. It leaves you in a strange limbo. Part of you feels flattered, part of you feels cautious, and part of you is afraid of stepping over a line you can't come back from. What makes it so tricky is the ambiguity. She never makes it clear, and that's exactly what draws you in. So why would a married woman send out these mixed signals in the first place? Is it accidental, or is it a deliberate psychological game? Stay tuned, because in this video, we're breaking it all down. The reasons behind it, the signals you might be missing, and the smartest way to handle it without losing your dignity. Idea 1. Why do married women send signals? Start here. Attraction doesn't clock out at the altar. That is the uncomfortable, very human truth. A ring promises commitment, not immunity from chemistry. People still want to feel seen. They still want to feel chosen. You must understand the engine underneath. Attention, validation, appreciation, novelty, and relief from the grind. Long marriages can be loving and still drift into autopilot. Bills stack up. Kids need rides. Work drains the tank. Under stress, even a devoted wife can feel emotionally underfed. Don't assume malice. Don't assume disaster at home. Think micro-deficit, not marriage apocalypse. That is the gap where mixed signals are born. A warmer laugh than usual. A longer glance. A text that hums with subtext. Sometimes it's intentional, often it's not. The brain is wired to seek dopamine when life feels flat. A little attention is a tiny spark. Be clear on this. She may love her husband and still enjoy the feeling of being noticed. That is the paradox, not a plot. Personality plays a role. More extroverted women naturally flirt in friendly, low-risk ways. Cultural habits matter too. In some circles, high warmth is normal, not romantic. Attachment history adds another layer. Anxious types seek reassurance. Avoidant types like control and distance. Both can send confusing vibes without meaning to cross any lines. Social context magnifies everything. Offices, gyms, group chats, late-night DMs. These are accelerators. Compliments and emojis compress boundaries. Don't mistake accessibility for intimacy. Don't confuse shared humor with shared intent. If signals show up even in good marriages, ask why they feel necessary. Maybe unresolved conflict at home. Maybe routine has numbed the romance. Maybe she's rebuilding a dented self-image after weight changes, career shifts, or menopause. These are not excuses. They are explanations. Use these psychology tips. Watch consistency, not intensity. A one-off spark often means mood. A repeating pattern means a need. Notice what she does when her husband enters the room, when friends are present, when the topic turns serious. Patterns reveal purpose. Here's love advice you can use right now. Don't chase ambiguity. Be the adult in the room. Set the tone. Be respectful, not reactive. If you're unsure, slow down your interpretation before you speed up your response. That is how you avoid reading politeness as passion. Ask yourself 3 checks. Is the signal private or public? Does it persist over weeks? Does it escalate only when life is stressful for her? If the answers cluster, the message is clearer. If not, treat it as friendly. Boundaries protect everyone. You must honor the marriage even if it isn't yours. Don't fish for deeper confessions. Don't become her secret therapist. Don't offer rescue from boredom. Be kind. Be steady. Be a gentleman. If she is genuinely interested and you are single, you still have a choice. Step back or step wrong. Guard your time, your reputation, and your conscience. More psychology tips. Redirect the energy instead of inflaming it. Shorten one-on-one chats, keep topics neutral, and elevate group settings. If you lead a team, establish professional norms so tone doesn't drift. If you're a friend, reinforce her confidence without inviting dependency. That is mature strength. For the woman, mixed signals can be a quick mirror. I still have it. For you, they can be a test of judgment. Do I still have mine? Use love advice that prizes clarity over thrill. Use dating tips that protect dignity over ego strokes. Remember, some signals are simply misreads. Warmth and charisma are not contracts. Others are quiet, SOS flares for connection. Your job is not to decode every glance like a cryptographer. Your job is to keep your values visible. Don't play games. Don't feed fantasy. If you must respond, respond with calm, kind boundaries. I enjoy our conversations, and I like keeping them respectful. Short, clear, final. That is how a man carries himself, by choosing what he amplifies. In the end, mixed signals aren't a mystery to solve. They're a reminder to see the full human picture. Meet it with empathy, discipline, and poise, anchored by psychology tips, guided by love advice, and calibrated by dating tips. Idea 2. What kind of signals do married women send? Let's be honest, when it comes to signals from married women, don't expect fireworks or neon signs. These signals are not loud, not obvious, and certainly not written in bold letters across the sky. Number. They slip in quietly, like a soft whisper in a crowded room, subtle, ambiguous, wrapped in everyday behavior. That is the genius of it. And also, the danger, because these signals don't come with a warning label. They hide behind politeness, courtesy, and the daily rhythm of just being nice. If you're not paying attention, you'll miss them. If you're not careful, you'll misinterpret them. Society tells you she's married. She's just being friendly. But deep down, you feel something different. A flicker of curiosity, a wave of confusion, maybe even a spark of excitement. That tension is real. And here's why. These signals are designed to pass under the radar. But if you can read them, you'll uncover an entire layer of hidden communication that most men ignore. Let's break down the truth, one signal at a time. 1. The different smile. A smile can mean many things. But a married woman's different smile, that's a message in disguise. Not the polite, thank you, have a nice day kind of smile. Number. This one lingers a little longer. It's warmer, softer, carrying a spark of comfort or interest that goes beyond the surface. Most men dismiss it. They say, she's just being nice. But don't kid yourself. When you notice this kind of smile directed at you more often than at others, you must pay attention. In love psychology, subtle gestures reveal more than bold declarations. That is the art of attraction. And yes, this is one of the oldest tricks in the book women use to attract men, even if only emotionally. 2. Lingering eye contact. The eyes don't lie. They just don't. When she holds your gaze longer than necessary, it's not an accident. It's communication without words. A silent signal asking, do you feel this too? In a crowded room, one glance can feel like an entire conversation, and the charge in that moment can be unforgettable. Be careful, though. Don't romanticize every glance. But when it happens often, when the gaze lingers, understand this. She's not just seeing you, she's connecting. And that is powerful. 3. Finding reasons to be near you. She asks for your advice on something trivial. She starts small talk when there's no real reason. She looks for excuses to be around you. That is not coincidence. That is intent disguised as casual interaction. Each conversation is a stepping stone, a bridge, a way to test if you're willing to meet her halfway. In relationship goals, emotional bridges matter more than physical ones. This is how attraction is built quietly, layer by layer. 4. Light touches and close proximity. A touch on the arm, standing a little too close, brushing by your shoulder. Do not dismiss these as accidents. In fact, don't lie to yourself. When someone is married, these touches are never random. They're deliberate, yet camouflaged as casual friendliness. It's subtle attraction. The kind that makes your heart question whether you're imagining it. But you're not. 5. Sharing personal thoughts. Now here's the big one. When she starts sharing personal struggles, emotions, or stories she doesn't share with others, you've crossed into a deeper territory. Trust, vulnerability, emotional intimacy. This is no longer just polite conversation. This is connection. This is her inviting you into her private world. And in love psychology, emotional intimacy is the highest form of closeness outside of physical intimacy. 6. Mixed signals and ambiguity. And yet, here's the catch. Because she's married, she will never be straightforward. One day she's warm, open, maybe even flirty. The next day she pulls back, distant, guarded. That is the push-pull dynamic, the classic game of mixed signals. It keeps you guessing, keeps you second-guessing yourself, keeps you trapped in the gray area. Don't ignore it. Don't pretend it's not happening. Understand it. This is her way of balancing between her role as a married woman and her human desire to connect, to attract, to feel alive again. So, what's the lesson here? Don't misread politeness as attraction, but don't ignore the subtlety either. Married women send signals that are soft, layered, and wrapped in plausible deniability. Your job is not to chase blindly, but to notice clearly. Be sharp, be grounded, and above all, remember your own relationship goals, because the line between curiosity and complication is thin, very thin. After all, understanding these signals isn't just about learning how to attract women. It's about learning the deeper truths of human behavior, the timeless art of love psychology, and the power of paying attention. Idea 3. Why do you often miss these signals? Men, let me tell you straight. The reason you often miss the signals from married women isn't because you're blind. It's because your mind has been trained, conditioned by social norms, to respect the sacred boundaries of marriage. Society whispers, "Don't cross that line." Your brain obeys. So when a married woman gives you a subtle smile, lingers in conversation, or shows signs of warmth, your instinct pushes it aside as simple friendliness. It's a shield, yes, but it's also a blindfold. And that blindfold keeps you second-guessing yourself. One day she's warm, the next she's cold. One moment she laughs at everything you say, the next she distances herself completely. That contrast breeds confusion, and confusion breeds hesitation. Then comes fear. Fear of misreading, fear of stirring up drama, fear of being painted as the bad guy. That fear makes you rationalize everything away until you miss what's right in front of you. Don't let fear dominate you. As Marcus Aurelius, the great old Stoic, once said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." That is Stoicism in action. See reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. A modern Stoic must do the same. Acknowledge the signal, understand it, and then decide firmly what it means for your life. Don't drift in uncertainty. Don't let mixed signals dictate your self-worth. Remember, women may act out of curiosity, boredom, or the thrill of validation, but your role is not to chase chaos, it's to master clarity. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity, Einstein reminded us. The opportunity here is discipline. The opportunity is awareness. The opportunity is mastery. Let's be clear. You must trust your instincts, but temper them with reason. That is the balance of an old Stoic mindset. That is modern Stoicism applied in real life. If she's warm one day and cold the next, don't obsess, don't overanalyze, interpret, decide, move on. Don't let uncertainty rob you of peace. You are not here to play games. You are here to master your reality. So recognize the pattern, understand the psychology, and then choose your path with authority. Stop living as if you're at the mercy of signals. Start living as if you are the one writing the rules. Stand tall, think sharp, act decisively, and above all, don't miss what matters. Your control over your own mind, your clarity, your victory. That is real power. That is modern Stoicism in motion. If you find this valuable, like the video, share it with someone who could benefit, and subscribe for more psychology insights. Comment below to lock it into your mind. I trust my instincts without fear. Idea 4. How to handle these situations without losing respect. Here's the calm, confident way forward when a married woman's signals feel mixed. Keep your footing with balanced awareness and self-control, because impulse is a poor pilot and clarity is your compass. That is, see the situation for what it is, not for what you wish it to be, and respond like a man who respects himself and every commitment in the room. Start with reality. She is married. Full stop. Don't blur that line. Don't test it. Don't negotiate it. Be the adult who honors vows, even when they aren't yours, because integrity isn't situational, it's a standard. Next, manage your emotions before they manage you. Confusion, curiosity, and even attraction are normal, but they are signals to slow down, not green lights to speed up. You must set boundaries that protect your dignity. Keep conversations appropriate, avoid charged one-on-ones, skip the late-night messages, and never turn a private joke into a secret bond. Be mindful of the context. Office politics, community circles, and family dynamics can multiply the fallout faster than you think. And remember that every text and glance has a paper trail in someone's memory. If you need a script, keep it simple. I enjoy talking with you, and I'm committed to keeping things appropriate, followed by behavior that matches the words. You must also invest in your own life, your fitness, purpose, friendships, because the best love advice often starts with personal alignment, not pursuit. The most practical dating tips frequently boil down to boundaries, clarity, and self-respect. And yes, more psychology tips help here. Label the feeling, name the risk, choose the value. Don't make her the moral referee of your choices. Be the referee. That is leadership. That is character. Use love advice to care without crossing lines, and lean on dating tips to protect your energy and time. Repeat those principles until they become habit. In short, if the signals disturb your peace, step back with grace. You must protect your name, your nerves, and your nights of sleep. Don't chase confusion. Be the man who chooses clarity. That is how you handle the moment without losing respect for her, for the marriage, and for yourself. If she flirts or becomes extra attentive, don't mirror it. Redirect with class. A simple, "I value our friendship and your marriage, so let's keep this professional," is both firm and kind. Don't over-explain. Be brief, be steady, be consistent. If you feel pulled in, create healthy distance without drama. Reduce frequency, choose group settings, or keep interactions task-focused. That is self-care, not cowardice. You must audit your motives too. Are you craving validation, chasing novelty, or avoiding your own loneliness. Own it. Do the work. Call a trusted friend, get grounded, and use real psychology tips to separate signal from story. You'll be surprised how quickly fantasies fade when held up to the light. Respect, then, is your North Star. Respect her as a person, respect her spouse as a person, and respect yourself as a man who doesn't trade peace for a rush. Don't triangulate. Never use her attention to compete with other men or to soothe an old ego bruise. Idea 5. The hidden consequences of responding to signals. If you choose to respond to subtle signals from a married woman, you'd better understand the storm you're stepping into. Don't fool yourself. Every move has a price. 1. Family conflict is waiting at the door. When you engage, you're not just flirting with possibilities, you're playing with fire. If the truth comes out, it won't just burn her marriage. It will scorch your reputation. That is the harsh truth. People don't care about details. They won't ask, did she lead you on? They only see one thing: you, the other man, intruding in sacred territory. Don't underestimate the weight of that label. It sticks like glue. Respect evaporates. Even if you had the noblest intentions, society doesn't hand out medals for good excuses. It hands out judgments. 2. The trap of work and neighborhood drama. Now imagine this. She's not just a passing stranger. She's a co-worker, or maybe your next-door neighbor. That's where things get messier. Work relationships can collapse. Neighbors whisper. Your social circle grows heavy with suspicion. Instead of being admired, you may be branded untrustworthy. And trust me, that label doesn't wash off easily. You could spend years building a good reputation and lose it overnight because of one entanglement. This is where love psychology comes in. Attraction might feel intoxicating, but the consequences are sober, cold, and unforgiving. Be wise. Don't let fleeting signals derail your bigger relationship goals in life. 3. The emotional spiral that eats you alive. And here's the deadliest trap: the emotional spiral. Once you cross that invisible line, it's no longer a harmless game. The deeper you fall, the harder it is to crawl out. At first it feels thrilling. She smiles, you respond, and suddenly you're caught in an invisible dance. But the more attached you get, the more painful it becomes. The more you try to pull away, the stronger the grip. It's like quicksand. The harder you fight, the faster you sink. You must face the truth. These signals aren't free gifts. They're chains. They bind, they entangle, and eventually they suffocate. Don't confuse temporary excitement with lasting happiness. That is the difference between chasing a spark and building real relationship goals. 4. The bottom line: protect your path. Be clear about what you want in life. Do you want to be the man who builds or the man who destroys? If you're serious about learning how to attract women, then learn discipline first. Recognize that not every signal deserves a response. True strength isn't about chasing every opportunity. It's about walking away from the wrong ones. That is how men safeguard their future. That is how they avoid scars that never fade. Remember this: in love psychology, every choice has a ripple effect. Don't let your future be defined by one reckless response. Protect your peace. Protect your reputation. Protect your heart. Bottom line: when you respond to a married woman's mixed signals, you're not just stepping into her world, you're dragging chaos into yours. Don't do it. Be smart, be steady, and let your relationship goals guide you to something real, not something doomed. If you find today's content useful to you, don't forget to share your feelings and lessons with us, or simply comment, "Very cool." It's a great encouragement for our channel makers. Thank you very much. Idea 6. Situations where mixed signals often arise. Men, listen carefully. Married women don't always intend to send mixed signals, but there are certain situations where the lines blur and confusion takes root, and you must recognize them with clarity and strength. At the office, when you see each other daily, share projects, face deadlines, and fight through the same storms, professional empathy can quietly transform into attraction. What begins as understanding can masquerade as intimacy, and the mixed signals you perceive are born from shared stress, not true desire. At family gatherings, neighborhood events, or parties, the illusion of safety creates false comfort. She feels familiar. She opens up more. She appears vulnerable. And suddenly, a harmless laugh or kind gesture feels like something more. But you must not mistake warmth for invitation. Even in the digital world, through social media or private messages, the screen creates a veil of false security. Words typed in comfort can cross boundaries without intent, and the signal you read as attraction is often nothing more than momentary escape. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Apply that wisdom here. Do not be ruled by signals. Do not chase illusions, and do not allow your judgment to be hijacked by fleeting moments. Don't confuse empathy with attraction. Don't mistake friendliness for flirtation. Don't let your imagination become your enemy. Let's be clear. Mixed signals often reveal more about your interpretation than her intention. That is where discipline comes in. That is where Stoicism serves you. Both modern Stoic thought and old Stoic wisdom teach the same principle. Master yourself before trying to master situations beyond you. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." If she laughs at your joke, that does not mean she's ready to betray her vows. If she shares her stress, that does not mean she is opening the gates of her heart. If she messages you late at night, that does not mean she is asking you to cross the line. You must see clearly, think rationally, act decisively. This is Stoicism in action. In modern life, blurred boundaries are everywhere. Workspaces where long hours replace family time, online chats that never end, events where alcohol lowers defenses, digital platforms where connection feels easier than it really is. You must stand like a soldier of discipline in a battlefield of temptation. Don't entertain fantasies. Don't feed illusions. Don't let maybe become your downfall. Let's remind ourselves of Seneca's wisdom. If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable. That is the truth. You must know your direction, or every signal will confuse you. Married women may send signals, intentionally or not, but it is your responsibility to interpret them with clarity, to maintain boundaries, and to act with honor. You must remember, true power is not in chasing fleeting signals, but in mastering your response. That is victory. That is strength. That is modern Stoicism applied to daily life. You win not by indulging in fantasy, but by holding the line with courage and self-control. Don't play games you cannot win. Don't walk paths that lead only to regret. Instead, build yourself, master your mind, rise above confusion. You are not a slave to her signals. You are the commander of your own fate. And that, my brothers, is how a man of discipline, guided by Stoicism, both modern Stoic and old Stoic, turns chaos into clarity and temptation into triumph. Idea 7. The difference between unconscious and intentional signals. Not all signals mean the same thing, and you'll save yourself a lot of stress by sorting them into two clean buckets, unconscious and intentional, because the difference changes everything about your response. That is the whole game. Unconscious signals are the tiny leaks of normal human warmth. A slightly longer smile because you cracked a decent joke, quick eye contact because you happen to look up at the same time, a personal story shared because you're a safe pair of ears. That is not a covert invitation. It's a reflex of rapport, not romance. Don't read Morse code into a moment of kindness. Be the adult in the room. Watch for how these moments behave. They are sporadic, they don't escalate, they don't demand privacy, and they reset fast to neutral. She laughs, she's gracious, she goes back to business. If you set a gentle, neutral tone, keeping conversations public, brief, and on topic, the vibe follows your lead and the tension dissolves. You must remember that these are context-bound ripples, not currents. Fatigue, a good day, a bad day, a familiar face, human stuff. That is where sensible psychology tips, love advice, dating tips apply. Be respectful, mirror professionalism, and let the moment pass without turning it into a subplot. Now, intentional signals are different. She knows exactly what she's doing, and the pattern gives it away. Frequency goes up. Consistency tightens. There's escalation and testing. A playful remark becomes a running joke. Accidental touches turn deliberate. Messages shift from daytime to late night. Compliments move from great presentation to I keep thinking about what you said. That is probing, and it often serves a purpose: ego boost, novelty, boredom, leverage, or the thrill of seeing how far you'll go while the wedding band still sits on the finger. Don't pretend not to notice a pattern you can diagram. Be honest about your incentives and hers. If you push back and she doubles down, that's signal, not noise. If you name the line, I respect your marriage, let's keep this professional, and the behavior evaporates, you had clarity. If it mutates and hunts for a side door, you have your answer too. You must protect everyone's reputation and sanity, starting with your own. Set clean boundaries early. Keep interactions in groups. Choose public settings. Limit one-on-one chats. Avoid private jokes, and decline after-hours texts that have nothing to do with real life or real work. That is boundary hygiene, not prudishness. Don't feed the loop with wink-back banter or harmless flirtation. It isn't harmless when it lives in the shadow of a commitment. Be explicit without being dramatic. I enjoy our conversations, and I'm keeping them friendly and above board. You must also manage your environment, calendar, proximity, digital channels, because intention thrives in gray zones. Cut down the gray. And keep your story straight with yourself. If you're seeking the chase, admit it to a mirror, and then walk away anyway. Nothing expensive starts cheap. Here's where steady psychology tips, love advice, dating tips earn their keep. Trust patterns over moments, words over vibes, behavior over hope. The litmus test is simple. Unconscious signals fade when you dial down attention. Intentional signals escalate when you try to level them. Unconscious signals are polite weather. Intentional signals are a forecast. Don't confuse drizzle with a storm. Be the man who can enjoy ordinary warmth without needing to convert it into a saga. That is strength. You must separate curiosity from commitment, kindness from chemistry, and validation from values. And if you still feel pulled, write one sentence you'd be proud to show on a living room couch. I kept it respectful. If that sentence feels untrue, course correct today. Final reminder, delivered with care and clarity, and yes, more psychology tips, love advice, dating tips. Interpret slowly, decide early, and act cleanly, because mixed signals aren't your problem when your own signals are unmistakable. If you've learned to recognize the difference between unconscious and intentional signals, you're already protecting your peace and power. Comment below with confidence. I set boundaries with clarity and strength. Idea 8. A man's role in maintaining boundaries. No matter where the signals come from, the key lies in how you respond. That is the truth most men miss. You can't control her actions, but you can control your reaction. And trust me, your reaction says more about you than her mixed signals ever will. Think of it like driving in heavy traffic. Cars will cut in, honk, and weave around. You can't stop them from acting crazy, but you can decide whether you keep calm and stay in your lane, or whether you slam on the horn, chase them down, and risk a wreck. That's what boundaries are. Staying in your lane. Be the man who draws the line. A mature man shows strength by setting clear boundaries. Don't confuse this with being cold or rude. Strength doesn't need volume, it needs clarity. When you sense the signals, whether it's extra compliments, playful teasing, or those innocent but not so innocent texts, don't fuel them. Redirect the conversation. Say it with class. Stay polite but firm. That's how you make sure you don't unintentionally encourage her to push further. A man who knows his ground is like a lighthouse in a storm. The waves crash, the wind howls, but the lighthouse doesn't move. Protect your reputation and your worth. Establish personal standards. Say it out loud if you have to. I respect other people's marriages, and I won't let myself get dragged into blurred lines. That's not weakness. That's power. That's control. And that's how you protect your reputation in a world where whispers spread faster than facts. You must understand this. Mixed signals are often less about you and more about her situation, her boredom, her insecurities, her curiosity. Don't let those temporary impulses define your permanent image. Once your reputation is damaged, it's like trying to put toothpaste back into the tube, messy and impossible. Why boundaries actually attract women. Here's the irony. By drawing the line, you don't push women away. You actually attract women. Why? Because nothing is more magnetic than self-respect. Women notice when a man has discipline, when he values himself enough not to get caught up in games. That's love psychology at work. Sure, the easy road is to flirt back, to feel flattered, to let the ego take the wheel. But ask yourself, where does that road end? If your relationship goals are loyalty, clarity, and peace of mind, then you already know the answer. The road of blurred lines is a dead end. The bottom line, mixed signals will always exist. Married women, or anyone really, may send them for reasons you'll never fully understand. But here's what matters. You don't have to understand every signal to respond like a man. Don't feed the fire. Don't play into the drama. Be the man who sets boundaries, who protects his own dignity, and who lives by standards that never bend for convenience. Because at the end of the day, being strong isn't about fighting others. It's about mastering yourself. And that mastery, my friend, is the true secret to attract women, succeed in love psychology, and stay true to your relationship goals. Idea 9. Turning an awkward situation into a positive opportunity. Let's cut through the noise. Married women often give mixed signals, and if you misread them, you'll walk straight into chaos. Don't take it as temptation. Don't take it as confusion. Take it as a challenge to grow stronger. A modern stoic man, like the old stoic philosophers, doesn't panic when signals are unclear. He reframes them. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength that is your path. Instead of chasing after uncertainty, build a platonic friendship, grounded in respect and clear boundaries. Don't blur the lines. Don't invite trouble. A real man keeps his dignity intact. This is not about rejection. It's about direction. It's about turning an awkward moment into an arena to practice self-mastery. Seneca taught, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." That's exactly what mixed signals are, tests of your character. You must stand firm. You must not let impulse rule you. Not every emotion deserves an action. Not every spark deserves a flame. In modern life, where distractions are endless and temptations are everywhere, emotional discipline is no longer optional, it's survival. Stop looking for validation in unclear messages. Stop imagining something more. Instead, control yourself. harness your energy. Channel it into building your empire, not wasting it on chasing shadows. That is Stoicism in action. Modern Stoic, old Stoic, the principle remains the same. Master yourself, and you master the game. In business, in relationships, in life, men who succeed are the ones who know when to advance and when to withdraw. That is power. That is wisdom. That is victory. Let every confusing smile, every playful word, every maybe be your reminder. Your strength comes from restraint. Your clarity comes from discipline. Your pride comes from self-control. Don't misinterpret the moment. Use it. Don't fall for the trap. Rise above it. Life will keep throwing tests at you. Women may keep sending mixed signals, but you must remain immovable. Decide to be the man who doesn't chase drama, but protects peace. Decide to be the man who doesn't let confusion weaken him, but sharpens him. Decide to be the man who takes every awkward situation and turns it into fuel for growth. That is victory. That is mastery. That is the modern Stoic way. Understanding why married women send confusing signals isn't about judging them. It's about recognizing that human behavior is complex and emotional. When you notice these signals, the smartest move isn't to chase after them, but to protect yourself, your dignity, and most importantly, your peace of mind. Remember this: emotional clarity is strength. Respect boundaries, stay aware, and keep your self-control. That will always serve you better than running after uncertainty. If you've ever been in a situation like this, share your story in the comments. Your perspective could help someone else going through the same thing. And if you found value in this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss more real-life wisdom and psychology tips. Thanks so much for watching. Stay smart, stay confident, and above all, always respect yourself.